I'm Liliana. Welcome to MentorCliq's Mentoring Soundbites, where we answer some of the most common and important questions professionals just like you ask about starting, managing, and growing their mentoring programs. In this video, we are taking a look at something that's important to every organization, a mentoring culture. Mentoring cultures are something difficult to build. Many companies build their mentoring cultures organically thanks to dynamic personalities among leadership that championed mentoring from the start. However, any company can start growing a mentoring culture by planting the seed around a structured mentoring framework and letting it grow from there. Here are 5 steps you should take to create a positive mentoring culture at your organization, with the added bonus of soundbites from mentoring champions at various organizations explaining how they incorporate those strategies. We hope you find this video helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe for more mentoring best practices like this. Getting a mentoring program off the ground requires a ton of buy-in from executive leaders. But if you can find an executive sponsor who strongly values mentoring, your chances of getting the program launched increase significantly. Additionally, executive sponsors who have been the beneficiaries of mentoring are likely to be strong proponents and participants in the program. Employees will see that strong passion from mentoring and are likely to replicate it as well.
Power, influence, authority, all those things are something that are really important, plus help advocating for budget, for money, all of that. And we were lucky enough to get a great executive sponsor for our program who was already really invested in mentoring. She knew the value and was excited about it and was an avid mentor herself. Okay. So we didn't have to do too much persuasion to get her on board, but we had a meeting with her, presented very similar data to what we did to our executives who were funding, and really gave her a view of what mentoring could do. And she was totally on board with it, very excited about being the executive sponsor, and is really someone that I work very closely with for our program year after year. She is someone who really is the face of the program, and she helps to influence the executives as well, which is great. As we talk about the value and everything that's coming from it as well. She does direct appeals to people to join the program. She has made videos for the program to really, again, just advocate and promote all the great things that are coming from it. So she has really been an integral part of the success of the program. And again, even as we were in those initial conversations to get a vendor, was someone that we could use to help influence as well.
Mentoring doesn't work when participant needs aren't being met within the program. Mentees should be in focus when you build the program. Consider what they need by analyzing data related to the program's purpose and objective, and by conducting surveys to determine what potential participants feel they need from a mentoring program as well. Additionally, don't forget about your mentors. How you structure the program could impact how they feel about it. Make sure that their interest and especially their time is respected within the program design.
When we first started hearing some of the feedback, Kelly described, the 3 different companies coming together, and with that, we have different cultures within our company. We have different experiences that people have had with development programs, with mentoring. And so some of the things we were hearing were, just more, right? We want more employee development. Our engagement survey had mentions of, desire for mentoring program, but that looked and felt different to people, what they were expecting, what they were hoping for. And as we started to explore that further, we heard from some of our employee resource groups, similarly, they wanted to be able to find matches, senior leaders who could help them accelerate their careers, people who looked like them. We also had African American Leadership Council who came to us looking for some help specifically with matching. So they had a little bit more of a framework in mind of what they were hoping to accomplish, but wanted the support for the actual pairings in the mentoring relationships. So as we started to hear more and expand some of our employee development offerings, grow with PHI, for example, one of the things that it just kept coming back to was the mentoring component, and how do we actually do that, and how do we do it in a way that's going to not be too administratively burdensome, and not fade out either, right? Be something that's really sustainable and accessible to everybody.
Diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging are important to most workers, especially millennials and Gen Z. In fact, 76% of millennial and Gen Z workers stated that a company's approach to DEI is a strong component of whether they accept a job offer. That being the case, building a strong mentoring culture that's sustainable long-term means making sure the program not just takes DEI into consideration, but infuses DEI into the DNA of that program. Think strongly about how that might look at your organization. Everything from program accessibility to matching criteria can be impacted when looking through a DEI lens.
We offer multiple learning and development programs that are infused with diversity, equity, belonging, and inclusion as part of the underscoring. So we have courses in efficacy for people of color. We have efficacy for LGBTQ. We have efficacy for women in the leadership positions. In addition to that, we have career programs that are specifically created for our talent. 2 years ago, we have a Black Talent Career Development Program and Summit that was launched. That team is now, people that participate in that program are now going to go through the MentorCliq platform and a mentoring program that supports them and what they're doing. So DE&I is embedded into all the things that we do. If we look at our learning management system, we're looking at our content and the creation that we're pushing out to the organization. It's embedded again within our meetings with the town halls. So it's not just an add-on, it's definitely woven into our learning and development, the career progression, and what we're looking at for everybody.
Effective matching is a must-have for mentoring programs for several reasons, but we will focus on two. First, if you don't match mentors and mentees correctly, the relationship will fail to produce results. That is going to sour both mentors and mentees on mentoring, and won't make anyone excited about participating in programs. Second, if I try to match manually, you won't have the administrative capacity to match as many people as you need to produce a mentoring culture across your organization. Only the select few who get to participate will benefit. And that's assuming your matches even work, since again, getting the match wrong could create problems. Successful mentoring cultures are built on good matches and organization-wide participation. That requires either an army of administrators with divine matching powers or matching software that use research-backed matching algorithms. You can probably guess which one is easier and cheaper to find.
I love Smart Match. I love the ability to automate communications. Both of those things have saved so much time. If I didn't have those abilities, I could spend 100% of my time running one program instead of spending 50% of my time running 3 programs, tripling the number of mentoring participants that we're able to have year in and year out. When I think about the benefit of Smart Match, we actually looked at the data and found out that 2 times as many people are matched by Smart Match than any other kind of matching. And to think about the amount of time, the hours, the weeks that it would have taken our team to come up with matches that wouldn't have been as effective, that wouldn't have led to as engaging mentorships, it's remarkable to think that it's not only helping me save time, which I'm very grateful for, but it is also helping all of our participants get that much more out of their relationships.
Don't let all your time and energy building your program go to waste. If participants are growing sour on the program, you may not know until it's too late. So take the time to gather participant feedback at regular intervals. Doing so would let you catch problems with the program early, giving you time to fix them before they take the steam out of your efforts to build a mentoring culture.
So we created different mechanisms to collect their feedbacks in different moments of the program. So through the mentoring platform, we had the middle cycle check-in, we had the quick clicks to see how many hours they were recording in the platform. We had the final surveys regarding their satisfaction with the program and with the partnerships. And aside from that, we created some custom surveys to talk with them. So in the first one, we are trying to understand learned lessons and best practices to share with other participants in the middle of the program, the first parts. In the end of the program, we had a different moment to understand things that we should improve in the program, business results that they could achieve with the mentor initiatives, how the mentees evaluated their mentors' performance, because we intend to send a certificate to the top mentors. So we had these different moments. And aside from the kickoff session, that is one of the main events that we have in the program, we also had a second one exactly to put all the participants in the same place to share practices, to share doubts and everything. So after all, we know that all the knowledge, it is with the participants. So if we start to create these moments where they can share their experience, I think we are learning as a group. And I think I shared before that we have the internal social media where we put all the mentoring community in the same place. So this is also a very good way for us to put them in touch, but also for us to realize what are their perception about the program and collect some insights, some feedbacks regarding things that we should improve for the other edition.
Building a mentoring culture is not an easy task. However, it can be done. With the proper planning, assistance from leaders, and the correct tools, you can start the process of building a mentoring culture that completely transforms the employee experience. What does the mentoring culture look like at your organization? Let us know in the comments below. For even more mentoring tips, check out the links below the video or visit us at MentorCliq.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get updated on mentoring best practices like this.